Hey guys, John V here from PhoneArena. Right now you're watching our video comparison between the Nokia Lumia 2520 and the Microsoft Surface 2. Well, if you haven't noticed folks, Windows RT tablets in general have been pretty rare in the space, so it's really comforting to know that we're seeing two really good ones right now. So with the Surface 2 this year, it's treated to several hardware upgrades in addition to the new software experience to make it a pretty fantastic offering. But out of nowhere, we've got the Nokia Lumia 2520. It's pretty interesting looking tablet, similar specs as well. So let's find out how they compare against one another. We'll go ahead and say it, but these tablets have two of the more interesting designs in the tablet space right now. That's mainly because they have flashy designs that really help to capture attention right from the start. With the Lumia 2520, it really stands out for its flashy appearance, thanks in part to the availability of different colors, and on top of that, its tapered design. It's actually the same thickness as the Surface 2, but you really wouldn't notice it just because it's very skinny on the sides and it progressively gets thicker towards the middle portion of the body. Meanwhile, the Surface 2 comes to life with its industrial design. It's really more noticeable with its angular cutouts and its choice of materials. It employs that Vapor Mag composite material, which gives it a really good amount of sturdiness over the Lumia 2520. Due to the curvier nature of the Lumia 2520, it just feels more natural to hold in the hand just because with those angular cutouts of the Surface 2, they tend to feel a little bit sharp. At the end of the day, we still gravitate more towards the Lumia 2520. Its design is just refreshing. It's something new that we haven't seen before in the tablet space. Most people wouldn't realize it firsthand, but it's actually the Surface 2 that packs the larger display. So what we have on the Lumia 2520 is a 10.1-inch 1080p IPS LCD panel. So that's 1920 by 1080 pixels, giving it a pixel density count of 218 pixels per inch. Whereas the Surface 2 features a slightly larger 10.6-inch 1080p IPS LCD panel. So when you do the math, it gives it a pixel density count of 208 pixels per inch. Keeping all that in mind, we don't notice one display to be superior over the other just because they're able to produce the same crisp text in the web browser from a zoomed out view, so everything's more than legible to the eye. Now, it might be hard to see in this video, but there's a little bit more vibrancy with the Lumia 2520's display. We just noticed its color reproduction tends to be on the warmer side versus the cooler tones of the Surface 2. Viewing angles are nearly identical with these two panels. We just noticed just a little bit of distortion at wide angles, but not something that is distracting. Now, the brightness output on the Lumia 2520's display seems to be a little bit stronger over the Surface 2. Both are really nice for outdoor visibility, but we do notice just a little bit of bleeding going around the edges of the Lumia 2520's display, but it's only noticeable when we're looking at the color black. So the Surface 2 proves to be the more versatile thing just because it's outfitted with a full-size USB 3.0 port, so you connect a variety of peripherals to it. And you also have the micro HDMI output for quick video out functionality. You have the same thing too with the Lumia 2520, but instead of that useful USB 3.0 port full size, we only get a micro USB 3.0 port instead. At the same time, we like how the micro SD card slot on the Surface 2 is a lot more accessible than the Lumia 2520. Now, it's actually integrated into the SIM slot with the Lumia 2520, so when you pop it out, you're going to disconnect its cellular connectivity. And finally, there's the Surface 2's useful kickstand, which is nice just because it provides for a really neat hands-free video watching experience, and it's just nice being able to prop it up. As for cameras, the Lumia 2520 is outfitted with a slightly higher 6.7 megapixel autofocus camera, which features an f1.9 aperture lens, and its front-facing camera is actually at 2 megapixels. Meanwhile, the Surface 2 packs along a 5 megapixel camera and a 3.5 megapixel front-facing one. So what we find here is the Windows RT 8.1 experience, the most up-to-date version of the platform, and honestly, they're identical to one another. You have their start screen, which is filled with the dynamic live tiles, which aggregates a bunch of different content, from notifications to other information. Swipe down, you get to their apps panel. From here, we can see all the apps that are preloaded with the device, but when it comes down to it, there's nothing different between these two experiences. Therefore, with things like notifications and multitasking, they're handled in the same manner. Notifications, as we know, is done through the start screen here, and most of them will come up to their corresponding live tiles. And as far as multitasking is concerned, all we gotta do is flip through the corner right here with a swipe gesture, and we could toggle through all the open applications. And a nice thing about this with Windows RT 8.1, the enhancement here is that we could actually have two applications on the screen at the same time. And the nice thing about that is that we could also resize them and they'll adjust accordingly as well. Heck, we even get the entire Microsoft Office 2013 package with them both, so there's an added productivity value out of them. So you're going to get Word, PowerPoint, Excel, OneNote, and Outlook. However, there is one key difference that enhances the experience over on the Lumia 2520. It's preloaded with all those Nokia branded applications. So they include things like Nokia Video Director, you have Storyteller, Nokia Music, Nokia Camera, and finally Nokia Here Maps. Although they use different processors, the overall performance between the two are pretty much identical with one another. So on the Lumia 2520, it's powered by a quad-core 2.2 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 processor. And as for the Surface 2, it's powered by a quad-core 1.7 GHz NVIDIA Tegra 4 processor. And both are coupled with 2 GB of RAM, so you know that they are top-notch with their performance. So whether it's multitasking, heavy gaming, or simple basic operations, they pretty much exhibit the same level of finesse. Not surprisingly, they excel when it comes to the web browsing performance. They have speedy page loads, instant page rendering, smooth navigational controls, all the elements we want to find in any high-end device. Music playback is done through the Xbox Music Hub, so it's identical on both as far as their presentations, features. Nothing's going to be different between the two. As far as the audio quality, they're both armed with dual speakers. It's on the bottom edge here with the Lumia 2520 and on the sides of the Surface 2. Now we just find that the Lumia 2520 produces the tones that are stronger in volume output, so therefore they have more of a commanding presence to them. For those of you that are curious about image quality from their respective cameras, we kind of favor the Lumia 2520's 6.7 megapixel autofocus camera a little bit more, just because as a whole, it just takes the sharper looking visuals. Now outdoors where lighting is ample, you're hardly going to notice a difference. Details and color reproduction seem to be in tune with one another, but it's under lower lighting conditions that we see the Lumia 2520 excelling. It's just able to actually brighten up the shot thanks to its 1.7 aperture lens, whereas it's a lot darker looking with the Surface 2. But then again, the Lumia 2520 has a little bit more noise in its results. The same thing we could say about their video recording quality. We just seem to find that the Lumia 2520 is just a little bit more equipped at handling it. This is pretty interesting just because you get the same experience out of both tablets, though technically with the Lumia 2520 you get a few more apps out of the box that really enhance the experience, but beyond that we could say they're pretty much identical in that regard. The pricing is a little bit of a pickle between these two tablets just because it's only $50 that separates the Lumia 2520 and of course the Surface 2. Now the Lumia 2520 is higher at $500. It's a really nice tablet. We prefer its design just because of the cool colors and just how sleek it is, but in terms of the software experience, for the most part it is identical to the Surface 2. Now with the Surface 2, the really nice thing about it is that you're saving $50 picking this one up, so it's only $450, and what you get with this is just that kickstand, which really helps when you're trying to watch videos. And we also appreciate the fact that it's outfitted with a full-size USB 3.0 port, so this offers a little bit more versatility than its rival. So which one would we rather go with, Lumia 2520 or the Surface 2? It's a tough call just because they both have their strengths and their weaknesses. And obviously it's going to come down to personal preference. Sure, you're going to save $50 by going with the Surface 2, but you can't deny that the design of the Lumia 2520 is pretty interesting on its own. So if you guys want to learn more about either tablets, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. John V. Thanks for watching.